Have you ever questioned everything you ever learned until now? You are not alone. Welcome to Mystical Mavericks, a tribe that embraces your uniqueness and superpower. Discover how you can access your innate gifts and create a reality of fulfillment, purpose, and passion. Are you ready to go within to win? Discover the keys to success on The Mystical Maverick Show.
Verne Harnish is founder of the world-renowned entrepreneurs organization known as EO, with over 16,000 members worldwide, and chaired for 15 years EO's premier CEO program at MIT, which a program it teaches still today. Founder and CEO of Scaling Up, a global executive education and coaching company with over 200 partners on 6 continents, Verne has spent the past 4 decades helping companies scale up. Is the author of the best-selling Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, also authored The Greatest Business Decisions of All Times, for which Jim Collins wrote the foreword, and wrote Scaling Up, which has been translated in 22 languages, wow, and has won 8 major international book awards, including the prestigious International Book Award for Best General Business Book. His latest book, Scaling Up Compensation, rocketed to the #1 book on Amazon. Verne also chairs the annual Scale Up Summits and serves on several boards, including vice chair of the Riordan Clinic, co-founder and chair of Geoversity, and board member of the social venture $1 Million Woman. A private investor in many scale-ups, Verne enjoys piano, tennis, and magic. As a card-carrying member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians. Welcome, bienvenue, Verne Harnish, and thank you for showing up in your Mystical Maverick.
At the turn of the century, there was a shift in the energy, a necessary shift from the masculine more over to the feminine. We've been really full masculine for quite a while, which is why we fought a lot of wars, still fighting. And in my latest revision of Scaling Up, which I came out a few months ago, I decided to put a big stop sign through this image that we had been using for decades, which was this idea that you need to achieve a big, hairy, audacious goal, which the image was planting a flag on a mountain, you know, and a lot of folks at midlife, I'm going to go do marathons and climb Everest and all this. We're going to set base camps and we're going to crawl our way up. And you know, my view is, and we've seen enough of the movies and books, a lot of people who do that die. You know, it's not really useful. You know, the bodies are still all up there on Everest. And we began to understand with our work in the jungles of Panama that nature, she goes the other direction. She's heading down the mountain. You know, her rule's the path of least resistance. Why is it that we feel like we got to beat our heads against the wall? And so we've replaced that image, the very masculine, let's take that hill, let's compete, let's go beat them, and said there's really more of an approach of letting the love flow, letting go with the market. It was interesting, IDEO, who's launched 100 companies and they funded another 100, really wanted to understand what was the difference between the companies that succeeded and those who didn't. And by the way, they looked at the 4 same areas we do: people, strategy, execution, and cash. And they wanted to understand which of the 4 was the most important. Well, I love when research comes out and says things you never were looking for. First, all four mattered equally. So if you had any one of those legs of the table broken, it wasn't stable. Mm-hmm. But they found a fifth, and I had to go back and edit my book to add it. There was a fifth that was more important, and that was market timing. You know, the market makes you either look smart or makes you look stupid. I mean, I don't know about you, but any of the listeners, do you have friends that you know are absolutely not as smart as you, but have made $1 billion? You know, you're like, what the heck's going on? And I'm so bright, and I don't have the private jet yet. It's like, what's going on? And the market, the universe, the tribe will make you look smart or make you look stupid, and your job's to tap into that. And so I think the second thing that's going on, and I'll let you pipe in here a second. I've named what I think the best business book this century, and it was written by Tamsin Woolley Barker, who is a top biomimicry professor at in Arizona. Now she's our dean of the Biodiversity School of Geoversity, an organization I co-founded and chair. And again, we operate out of the jungles of Panama. And her book, Teeming, Teeming, her book, Teeming, which she updated last year, 2022 to 2.0, really lays out the 5 principles of superorganisms. You know, ant colonies, beehives, who, by the way, have scaled much further, faster than anything us mere human beings accomplished. By the way, have survived a gazillion pandemics, right?
Billions. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And these 5 fundamental principles of nature happen to be accidentally, I think, at the heart of unicorns, companies that have just flowed and scaled much further, faster than us mere mortals. And so that's really where our work now is going, is how do we, and by the way, her main client is Cisco, which was named the best place to work 3 years now in a row in the United States. And it's not surprising that Cisco is saying maybe there is a better and different way to organize us, more like a hive, ant colony, or beehive, than the crazy way that we've done it the last couple of centuries. And so anyway, that's what's going on in our world.
Well, I believe in moment of silence, because I'm going to say, okay. Like if someone would, and I hope to God they are going to pull this interview integrated on the cellular level, because this is beyond words an interview. There's no words to describe you, because it's as if you were coming from a futuristic place, because that's really what intuition is, business intuition. When I hear you, listen, you're so tapped in, you're so conscious, because there's 2 kinds. Either you're unconscious or you're conscious. And that is the key for business. Either you're conscious, you're not in a coma, or you're in a coma. And what you said is this split. Either you live this business reality duality, or you're conscious in the self. You are conscious in the self. You showed up in the self. Every word you say is not from the head space. You're so tapped in that your physical and mind follows the self, which is the opposite of everyone is trying the other direction, which you said. Climb the mountain, we say. Let yourself flow back to the ocean and let the wave get back home and make a decision from that place, which is all the 5th element that you described. You talk to me is music, is no talk. Understand? And your talk is silence. So if someone it doesn't understand what I'm saying, it's okay, because it will have a ripple effect, because the truth is the truth. You cannot complicate the truth. Yeah. So listen, there's not many of you, 1 out of a million. In this lifetime, your name might be Verne, but that's not your name. Your name is beyond, prior to consciousness. What you know, the wisdom you have, is not from books. You wrote many books, but it beyond is coming from a different place, which is source. And you know exactly what I'm saying. You know exactly what you are. You know exactly who you are, and that you're not physical mind. You're not mind and body. You transcended that. This is why you have the success you're having. And this is very important, because as we try as entrepreneurs to connect the dots with the mind, it will never happen. You have to go beyond that. At one point, the people I've met and interviewed, of course, our good friend Jeff Hoffman, beyond. Yeah. Mark Cuban. I mean, I've met so many interviews, and they all have this in common. And please chip in. They have this thing, this je ne sais quoi, this mystical thing. Call it whatever, X factor. But there is something about these ultra successful people like yourself that have this in. And it's very difficult to teach this. It's difficult. You can only transmit it to somebody else, no?
You know, it's, as you said that, what came to mind, there is this stare that I've only seen 5 times. And I first saw it when Mark Zuckerberg he was at Harvard, and he came over, and I was teaching a workshop at Babson. I didn't know who he was, and he came up afterwards and introduced himself. He said he had this business. I said, "What's your business?" And he goes, "Well, it's this kind of website to help guys pick up chicks on campus." All right. I'm like, all right, horny dude, get away, get away. But he had this look. And, you know, it was interesting when they did the movie about Facebook, and Jesse, I always forget his last name, who played Mark. He said the absolute most difficult thing he had to master in playing Mark Zuckerberg was the stare. It is this look that is penetrating. And I saw it with Michael Dowd. Michael's got it. Mark Cuban's got it. Wayne Azanga, the late Wayne Azanga, he was my second interview I ever did when I was writing for Fortune. Wayne has it. And I'm just going blank on his name. The only other guy, and Steve Jobs has it. Steve has it. I've never met Bill Gates, so I'm guessing Bill might have it. I've never met him. And then the guy who founded Foursquare. I always thought when Steve Jobs passed, they lost an important piece of who Apple is. And I thought they should buy Foursquare just to get the founder, because it's the only time I've ever seen that stare. And so there is something to what you would call mystical or able to see, but they have it.
They have it. You have it. You have it.
Yeah, but I don't have the private jet yet.
It don't matter, because the gift is already there. The rest, who cares? This is it's so beautiful. The beauty, wisdom, and love that penetrate the existence. Everything you do, everything you touch, every business encounters, everything you write about, every teaching, anything is integrated in this thing. It's the gift. You know, the gift. I mean, it says charisma in Greek. Charisma means gift, but this is too much ego to me. Charisma means gift in
I did not know that.
Greek. Charisma. But I think, to me, charisma has a lot of ego to it. You know what I'm saying? Like this, narcissism a little bit. But this is the innate intelligence, the cosmic intelligence that by the way, bravo, and tapping into this decision making in business, your book and what the things to teach. I mean, it has to be done. It has to be done. And so the decision making, I want you to share a little bit more, because in this world of infobesity, which I speak a lot about to entrepreneur, infobesity, the overload of information. Now, you write this best-selling book about the greatest decision making in business, right? So now we have infobesity, and the world of today is different, like you said. So how someone will get up in the morning with a business or start a business or who's an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
How do they now have to make those decisions? How with the burned out? How? Teach us.
All right.
What do you have to say about this? This is what we do. We make decision.
Yeah. Well, you're right. You know, success is just the sum total of all the decisions you make, you get others to make, and ultimately you get the market to make. So it is about influencing decisions. And so the short of it is, and I agree with you, and it's related to a rule I have.
Okay.
I've chosen not to have really an opinion about anyone until I've met them. You know, you can't judge anybody by social media, by the media, by anything you read. What you have to avoid is secondhand information. If you really get at the heart of who's making the best decisions, it's the leaders who are immersing themselves in their world and gathering it firsthand with their own senses, their own. So very specifically, you know, Brian Chesky, who's the CEO of Airbnb, you know, back when he and Nate, who I know, and his other co-founder were getting Airbnb going, folks don't realize they messed around for 6 years. They couldn't get anything to work. Wow. They talked their way into Y Combinator, and Paul Graham one day came to him and said, look, guys, you're not making any progress. So I have a question for you. Where are your best customers? And they gave the standard answer, everywhere, right? Everywhere. He goes, no, you're not understanding. Do you have any customers right now? Yes. Where do you have the most? Now, they're a Silicon Valley company. New York, they had 20 beds. After 6 years, they had their biggest market was New York City, 20 beds. That was it. So Paul Graham wisely said, all right, guys, pack your bags. You're moving to New York, and you're going to move in with your customers, which you can at Airbnb. You're going to go sleep with your customers, and you're going to figure out what's wrong. Wow. Guess what? They found it. It's always simple. It's, as you said, the universe is simple. And if your answer is complicated, you know it's wrong. When Einstein first came up with his, unified theory, it was like 20 some pages long. He knew instinctually it wasn't right. When it was E equals MC squared, then he knew it was right. So anyway, they found the two things that were wrong, and then they stayed in New York till they 10x'd, went from 20 beds to 200 beds, and the rest is history. Now, let's speed forward. What did Brian Chesky just come off doing the last 6 months? Literally living on the road in Airbnbs, trying to understand what they need to do next. And they found it. They found the one thing. They've made the change, and Airbnb is taken back off. My good friend David Risher, who helped Jeff Bezos scale up Amazon in the early days, is the new CEO of Lyft, competing with Uber. And the first thing David did, 3 days on the job, he put up a post, hey, I finally got certified, and he's out driving cars. And he's talking to customers, he's talking to drivers. And I don't know if you saw the announcement he made this last week, which is now there's going to be women can choose women drivers. people can choose like drivers so they feel safer. And I actually took a Lyft from Reno to the Everline Resort here in Tahoe yesterday. And it was a new woman driver. And she said, you know, things that I switched to Lyft because I feel safer, the things that they're doing. And it's because David went out and is listening to the market directly. You know, Steve Jobs, one of my favorite stories, you know, he hated focus groups. You know, they were in a focus group for an iPod and they asked customers, all right, what color should an iPod be? And they settled on yellow. Then they said, hey, just to thank you for coming in and spending time doing this, outside are a bunch of iPods, take one. Everyone took a white one. So you cannot believe what people say. You cannot believe what you read. You've got to go there and see it with your own soul. And so it's firsthand data from hanging with your employees, hanging with your customers, shopping your competitors, and then getting quiet and seeing what your gut says to you. And there is a 4-step process for doing this that I taught years ago, got reinforced by this top Russian woman PhD candidate at MIT who studied executive decision making. But in essence, you got to trust your gut, but you need to make sure your gut is based on first-hand data, not anything that you've read or not seen yourself.
You know, you talk music to my ear. I mean, you know how happy you make me, right?
All right. But
listen, there's one thing that I'm going to debate a little bit. This is one thing. You know, I'm writing something about not decision making, but really business intuition. Okay.
Yeah.
Which has to do with business decision. So listen.
Yes.
So the thing is this. We have been conditioned that, you know, people have been saying, listen to your gut for a long time. Even my grandma, right? Listen to your gut. Okay. So when I kept quiet, long time ago, I was quiet. And is this Kim? It comes to me very quickly. Everything does. And it was, no. What's in your gut? So I'm asking you, what's in your gut? You don't have to answer because it's kind of, you know, obvious. What's in your gut?
Yeah.
So,
well, go ahead.
What's in your, so see how we listen to condition. We're so conditioned to repeat like a mantra, listen to your gut, that we now believe it's in our gut. Listen, watch. The gut is no good, right? The gut is the gut. The gut. What's in your gut? Okay. So if you listen to your gut, I mean, the things in your gut is the past, is based on a very low frequency, which is the survival instinct. First chakra, right? First chakra, and it has that fear thing. So that is not intuition. That is not intuition. Is basic instinct. I'm walking in the dark alley. I feel my stomach. Oh, that's fear. So, not listening to fear. The intuition. This is compression. This is contraction. Intuition, expansion, raising a consciousness, love. And that is not in the gut. That is in sitting like a little beautiful temple in our heart. That is the resonance of intuition, and it rises up to God consciousness, which is intuition. And so there is a truth to listening to your gut because it starts there. It starts there. At least we start to feel connected to something, but we don't stop there because we can repeat the past. So a little bit of...
Well, let me tell you what it connects to. So the moment I founded YEO, today is EO,
Yes, yes.
Was the evening I hosted Steve Jobs for his first public speech after being fired from Apple. He had, he'd had his baby ripped from his arms. He was in massive funk. I managed to get his friends to convince him to come out and tell his story. And he ended his speech. We'll never forget it. It was mesmerizing. And it doesn't seem profound, but it was in the way he gave it context. And he said, look, the thing he's learned is to follow your heart using your head.
Wow.
So it's and what came to me as you were saying that is that I've always loved the number 3. I think the triad has always been a powerful balance. It's the minimum you need to have that real stability. And I think it's the triangulation of the head, heart, and gut.
Yes, exactly right.
That you got to check in with all 3.
Exactly correct.
And they're your advisors. And then you make a decision.
Correct. Bravo.
All
amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
I learned it from you. I just learned it from you.
No, not at all. We know it. It's just that
we know it. You're right.
We know it. It's just that we sometimes there's like a little hooked. We're hooked by certain perceptions or concepts. There's no I anymore. I mean, to me, the I is gone. I have no name. I got everything out the window. No concepts left. So it's freedom. And when you're free, you don't need to make decision because decision is made for you. They already done. All you do is just step into it.
Yes. You just catch the wave.
Yes.
You don't make the wave. The wave's there and you see it and you catch the wave.
Okay. I know. You're so beautiful. I think you're just light. You are like this beauty, love, wisdom all together wrapped into this physical reality. I don't know what else to say. I have to tell you, I have no filter, so I have to tell you because very few people, this is very unique. What you are, very unique in this lifetime. You don't meet people like this. This is very, very unique, very highest in consciousness. And I tell you, I speak very clearly the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
right.
So what
aliens have visited this planet.
My kids tell me, Mom, I don't want you to come to this party because you're an alien and you're going to scare people. Right. So please don't come. So we're aliens.
All right, we are aliens.
Of course.
That's why that's one of my favorite songs of Sting.
Oh my gosh!
If we had fun, if we had if we wanted to go some fun questions, people are always like, I love the question. Yes. If you could come back as anybody else, who would it be? And everybody thinks I'm going to say Steve Jobs. My kids laugh at me because I have like 27,000 Steve Jobs references, but it really is Sting. He's the guy that if I could come back, it would be a Sting.
So how do you know that is my favorite? No, listen, I'm a musician professionally. Listen,
I know.
Listen, he's
He's
an alien, and I came here with $50 in my pocket and didn't speak English, and I had $50, didn't speak English. I was an illegal immigrant, homeless, not just illegal, but homeless.
Yeah,
with my guitar on the street like this, and that song.
I know.
Okay.
All of us aliens. That is our favorite song.
Yes. So listen. What so you started with pursuing on a quest of entrepreneurship. What ignited for you? I mean, you were a child. What ignited this quest for you?
Desperation.
Well,
No,
Hello.
but but so my grandparents had companies.
Okay.
I grew up around it. My dad and his partners launched a very successful company. It was a rocket ship of a firm. And then he lost it all in the 73 recession, and he never recovered. Became a alcoholic. My sisters had him put in jail. He never forgave them for that. And he really died a lonely man. And we did everything we could to make him comfortable and the like. But we did just find out, we got his military records. You know, he was a certified genius, and he was a marksman, and he was in special forces. So I think he did things that he never could come to grips with. And we didn't have the openness to psychedelics that we do now for people to you know, the Greeks, you mentioned the Greeks. That's why I mentioned the book Immortality, which is, they said, if you don't die before you die, you'll die when you die. And it's really the death of the ego.
Yes.
And Dad never had the chance to die. I can only know the words now. Die before he died, so he could die when he died. And so a lot of it, and then, so we were poor. It was a riches to rags story. So he and I jumped into business together, repairing appliances. You know, it was we were started as janitors, and that was no fun. I was cleaning 50 bathrooms. Old men are such an old aim. Bad aim. They should just sit on the toilet. All right. But yeah, I did that 100 rooms every night after school, $2.22 an hour. I remember that. And I'm like, all right, we're going to go start a little business. And that kind of got me in the entrepreneurial journey. And why I do what I do is to hope no entrepreneur goes through what my dad did. And if we can bring some light and wisdom, and the founding principle was, so I want to go back to Steve Jobs. So I'm hosting him for his public speech. I think he's just going to come over from Pixar and go back, but he stayed. I had a gathering, and Mark Cuban was there, and Kevin Harrington, and Michael Dell, and all of those hotshot young entrepreneurs. But Steve stayed, but he stood in the corner by himself. And I remember my mentor, Joe Mancuso's line: "It's okay to be independent. Freedom. It's okay to have freedom, but it's no reason to be alone. It's okay to be independent, but no reason to be alone." And that's what EO's done, is helped to date tens of thousands of entrepreneurs not be alone. And because we need the tribe, we need the hive in its wisdom.
The Dalai Lama says one thing very clearly: you cannot do anything without community. One person never would survive. I don't care how enlightened you freaking think you are, it won't happen. You need community. So build community. Don't think just business, right? That's what you've done.
So I think that's where it comes full circle, why I do what I do.
So in your community, how many entrepreneurs today? I think I wrote a number, but I had to double check because there was too many zeros. I said, is this possible?
Well, it's present membership. We've had a lot of people, members over the 36 years, but its present membership is over 18,000. But look, I think it should be 1.8 million. We should be 100x what we are. There's too many lonely entrepreneurs out there that we can serve. And so I'm hoping we can kind of kick into gear.
But hope alone. Hope is the past. No, hope. I don't talk about hope. But hope is what you said. Hope is an element that does not matter in this absolute reality you're in. For you, it's absolute. It's absolute reality, supreme reality. No hope.
All
supreme reality, done.
And I'm putting the vibration out there.
But
0.8
Yes.
million members.
And because you touch a very, very beautiful point in the very beginning. You said this is the change of the world. This is age of enlightenment, feminine, sacred, divine. And this is why all these people come to you, or the entrepreneurs, and the new entrepreneurs, the new coming entrepreneurs, that you have the EO, and then you have the YEO, the young entrepreneurs who are coming to you, and they're going to be very excited, because when they hear you speak, you transmit the self, you transmit truth. This is the only way, is someone like you that can actually pierce the veil of ignorance by removing doubt and removing fears. So by the time you show up, even if you don't talk and open your mouth, it's already happening, because of what you are, because of what you vibrate. The clarity, no doubt you have about nothing. You have no doubt. And so you remove doubt for people, for those who are coming.
And you said something critical. It is about vibration.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I often note that, you know, we've been supposedly around for a couple 100,000 years as Homo sapiens. And to survive and thrive, we developed speech about 100,000 years ago. Now, we've only had the written word for 5,000, and we've had Excel spreadsheets for about 40 years. So I think I understand what we're much better developed to do if we want to figure things out. And that is stare at Excel spreadsheets or get in conversation. And and that's what EO's forum does, is it provides a safe place for the entrepreneur to speak what they are trying to figure out. You can't think your way through anything. You have to speak it. And then when you speak it,
so good.
Now you put out the vibrations. And my view, we can pick up the faintest of vibrations from the Viking spaceships that are now out beyond our known universe. Man, hopefully Sheryl Crow picks up that I'm interested in dating her. And I will keep putting that out to the universe. And I've got folks working on that. So anyway, you've got to just speak your truth. And you're right. That is how it manifests. And so this importance of talking things out as opposed to just sitting there and thinking it out.
Well, thinking don't work.
Conversation. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Thinking only it gets you into more problems.
It does.
And it doesn't end. And so sometime I do gathering. It's called satsang. In Sanskrit, satsang means gathering with truth.
Yeah.
With truth. Gathering with truth. Boom, bam, bam. Like this is satsang. And so I tell no, just be quiet. No effort, no practice, nothing. Just be quiet. It's like this. And so the effort of not making effort is essential for success. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Make the effort of not making any effort. It's very difficult because we've been trained like animals to think. So I say, don't think. For this second right here, right now. In fact, you're not thinking right now. There's no thought. No, I know. This is why
but I'm a dude. Because the other thing the other thing we can't change is our paleo existence, us guys.
Yes, of course.
And look, we all have masculine and feminine.
Of course.
But we went out on the hunt for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yes.
We couldn't be thinking.
Yes.
We couldn't talk, or we would miss the beast.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so, I mean, it's a joke. I have 3 sons and a princess. And my daughter will often ask, like my son Cameron, so what are you thinking? And he'll literally say, nothing. And she'll be laughing because the feminine, why the dudes were out on the hunt, the women were back chatting it up. But by the way, what I do find is interesting, if you went back and looked at the research, you know, they talk about the amygdala and how there's this fight or flight response. That research was only done with men.
I didn't know that.
We have I either want to attack the beast or run from the beast. right?
Wow.
It's that primal.
Mm-hmm.
Women have a different F. They flock. They flock
Mm-hmm.
together.
Mm-hmm.
They come
Of
together.
course.
They support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not been in the masculine instinct
Mm-hmm.
to do that, which is why, particularly in the US, as you know, when Mother Teresa came over,
Mm-hmm.
she left. And my co-founder of Geoversity, Nathan Gray, worked very closely with her. When she came back from that trip, she said, hey, there's a real affliction in the United States, loneliness. And that's why that it's okay to be independent, but no reason to be alone.
Beautiful.
Is really, I'm speaking probably more to the dudes than I am to the feminine that has an instinct to flock. We don't. And hopefully we're learning that.
Well, you're teaching it, and the way you are in this instrument, your masculine instrument, is there's a beautiful, I mean, it's reason for this. You didn't just show up in this body, you know, but because now you're influencing men in business, you're raising their consciousness, and they become to open their doorway to this intuitive world, inner voice kind of thing, that, and you're the one who have to do it. Who's going to do? A woman cannot really teach him. It has to come from someone who has gone through that evolution itself, that experience, in order to transmit it, to teach it, which you do. So for you to talk to entrepreneurs, male, entrepreneurs, is key. Is key to where we're going. We're going. We're transcending. And
and in a practical sense, you and I were chatting before we got started. The hot thing this year is AI. And what we've discovered is that for AI to flourish, it needs a feminine environment. It can't flourish in a masculine environment. We'll put too many guardrails around it, and it needs to be free to look at the craziest of data sets, to be able to make correlations that make no causality sense. And so for business leaders, particularly the masculine, needs to recognize this, because I mean, I think if your company doesn't figure out how to harness the power, and AI, what it does is it helps us just gather more firsthand data and process it, so we can see those patterns. That's the fundamental thing we're looking for, these patterns. But it's going to require us to kind of let the love flow if we're going to realize its potential. And so there's where, theory meets practice as we look to the future. And I see it very simply as silicon and carbon. It's silicon, we're carbon, two of the most plentiful elements. And it's this opportunity for silicon and carbon to cooperate and do some amazing things together.
So incredible. You speak in very clearly in the language of today, but yet is something that is from the scripture, thousands, 5, 6, 7 thousands of the Bhagavad Gita, the sacred and the masculine, the yin, the yang, or the Shiva, the Shakti. And the Shiva Shakti is not Trinity. Coming together. I mean, can you imagine doing business like this? Coming together and wow. It flows. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Everybody raises itself up into consciousness. Everybody wins. Incredible. And now you speak about this thing. I don't remember what I speak about. I'm so here now. I can never remember. It's swoop. But something you mentioned about, no, you didn't say meditation. You say be quiet. You say AI. Oh, that's it. AI. And how to bridge the human aspects with the higher consciousness or the higher intelligence. And do you know Dr. Porter, Patrick?
I don't.
Okay, beautiful, very CEO of a big company. He's actually the sponsor of my show. A very beautiful company. He created, and he started for him when he was a little boy, like 8 years old or something.
Yeah.
But he's a doctor. He's a doctor of the brain. And we do conferences and retreat and things like that. And he created BrainTap. And BrainTap is BrainTap technology. When you just put it on your head for entrepreneurs, athletes, whoever wants to raise consciousness or become a, super rock star, and they have light that goes into the brain with meditation. And so, I just want to always mention it because it's important that people know there is tools out there that can help you to perform as an entrepreneur. BrainTap. So BrainTap, Dr. Porter, amazing.
Awesome.
So what is next for you in your universe? What comes next? Where do you flow?
It's not to climb mountains. I hit my midlife, not a crisis, but midlife about 2 years ago. I think you get a sense how you've lived longer than you're going to live. And that was when I was 62 and a half. So I think 125 is my number. And so the second half, I'm working on 8 things I'm championing in the world.
Okay.
So we're working on ending the death penalty in the United States. I think it's crazy that we're the only Western country that still does this barbaric act. And next Tuesday, I meet with the key senator in Georgia. We got it done in Virginia. We're the first Southern state to get rid of the death penalty in the United States. And, one of the interesting arguments that is catching the attention, mainly of the Republicans who we've got to convince to get rid of this barbaric act, is this idea that more is caught than taught. It goes back to firsthand information. Okay. Your children learn more from what you do than what you say, right? It's like everyone said they wanted a yellow, but they went and got a white one, right? More is caught than taught. And so I think first, what are we teaching our children? But here's what I find more interesting. What are we teaching AI? AI is learning from us. We're training AI. And do we want AI to think it's okay to kill people? It violates one of its fundamental rules, but it's there to learn from us. And so for no other reason, we have to stop the killing. And so that's one thing I'm working on. We're working on Africa. I've always wondered why Africa has not truly realized its full potential. And my theory is because it never had a Hong Kong. Manhattan Island did that for us. Switzerland did that for Europe. Panama's done that for Latin America. So we think we finally settled on the Canary Islands. We think that is the place that can be the Hong Kong for Africa. So I'll be there in January. We're pulling together the kind of key leadership. And then I'm working on a musical.
Okay.
And so that's, and there's 4 or 5 other things. They're passion projects. The number one being obviously to support entrepreneurs. That's my number one focus. But the final thought is that, and the reason I went here, and I got to credit again, Ted Leonsis. Ted was one of my founding board members. He scaled AOL with Steve Case. He owns the sports teams today. Ted's really one of the fully developed beings, most developed being I've met, all right, and got to spend a little time with. He wrote a book called The Business of Happiness.
I love it.
And one of the key things he said in the book is that it's important to have the most different communities. So you said a key word, community, but to be in the most different communities is truly enriching. And I realized I was only in the entrepreneurial community. So as vice chairman of the Reardon Clinic, we're there to get rid of big pharma, essentially. There I get to hang out with an interesting group of folks. Geoversity is, folks involved in environmental and, our big issue is water. We think that's really the second, truth that we've not recognized as the plights of our oceans. All of these activities have allowed me to hang out in some very interesting and rich communities. And that's brought a lot of joy. So that's the impetus for it.
So musical. Well, you
Yes.
speak music to moi.
All right. Yeah.
I picked up a guitar. I was 6 years old. She's
Yeah.
my little baby. She's always here with me.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for this divine expression, if it wasn't for this that found me, because we don't find this, he seeks you and bam. I would not be here today. There's no way I could have survived the mountains,
Yeah.
I would not be here. And what you speak about for entrepreneurs, I think it's very important message, a wisdom that they work, they do business and that, but they also have to have a life of joy. They have to invite joy in their life. Find something like you have. I have music and I am passionate. I'm a dancer of tango. I'm a tanguera. So I dance tango every night, 5 hours. I go and dance.
Wow.
And I'm going to actually prepare a show. I'm going to start doing a show with a partner. The tango is the expression of everything with you and I talked about and know. So that's why I was excited to go to Barcelona. Jeff invited me to speak. So I won't be there. However, Barcelona. So So then it's your last, I know it's kind of little, but anyway, it's something that it's your last supper. Is that what you say? Supper? It's your last supper with your disciples. You have the last supper with your disciple. You have your wine. You have What do you tell these disciples? What's your last words? What's your final words of wisdom about what you experience in life? I mean, what's the fundamental? What is the thing?
Well, first of all, in that chalice is not just wine, but it's a psychedelic infused wine, which is what is now scientifically coming out. You women were the keepers of the sacrament. Later, you were called witches for brewing up this magic potion that allowed us to die before we die. But it's a very simple message. And it really comes down to 4 letters, and you know it, and it's love. At the end of the day, it's letting the love flow. And whatever is in the way of that is what you've got to tune into. And that's where you need to do some learning. That's your growth, is in understanding the constraints to love. And I think that's it.
It is it. Yes. I mean,
I think. I feel.
No,
I sense.
The truth is the truth, is direct truth. And love is the self itself. Self, love, God, Guru is same. It's one thing. Is love, God, Guru. One self. Self. So,
and I think it's a choice. Let's come back to our original word. I think it gets confused as a feeling. And what I've come to discern is that it's a choice. And that's what we've been given, is the opportunity to make choices. And that's the heaven and hell, yin and yang. positron electron, you know, love and the absence of love, that we're here to figure out. So,
and it will never be figured out, because if we try to figure it out, we'll go back into duality. There's nothing to figure it out. It is just it, to be that.
Yeah.
No name, gone. To be that. Nothing to figure out. If we figure it out, we go back into the drama. The beauty here, what is to figure it out? When I see you, what is to figure it out? Nothing to figure it out. When somebody sees someone like this, call it enlightenment, and that's another concept, but, you know, call it for what it is. You know, the non-year inspired me today. I mean, you got my juice back, because I live for this, huh? You understand? I mean, if you tell me, oh, you'll be dying in 5 minutes, I say, good, let me go. But I live for those moments. This, what happened, this thing with you, I live for this. It's the juice. You know, now I'm going to pick up my guitar and up we go.
Yeah, good. All right. With that, I got to pick up my guitar.
Yes, I know.
And go. I've got to get to another.
Yes, engagement. Of course.
All right.
You know, grateful
I love
beyond.
You too. I grateful. Love you too. I love E-Rock. I love entrepreneurs. I do.
I know. That's why you're so powerful. Grateful. Thank you. Much love.
You're welcome. Much love.
Wow, Mystical Mavericks. This was mind transcending, and Verne Harnish transmitted a wisdom that is really through words and also beyond words. When you hear his message, when you hear this conversation that him and I had, if you can be very present, very here and now, you can hear the power of the words and the vibration that came through him directly to you. And this is why this show, Mystical Mavericks, is so important for those who are seeking wisdom, truth, success, liberation, whether it is spiritual, physical, mental, spiritual, financial liberation. It's so important for those who are on this path of liberation. If you're an entrepreneur, a creator, really a mystical mavericks, you know, you have this je ne sais quoi, and you're looking for a tribe to understand your uniqueness. We are here for this. And the wisdom of today's episode is so profound and so powerful. Like it hits you right into the eye, the wisdom eye, and the heart. And this was really love. Not the feeling of love, but love as you being a natural love, who you are, what you are. Love, wisdom, beauty, freedom, the self. And he said, this is it. It is about love, that which is this, that has no name. And one thing that really was so unique in his transmission, he says, don't form an opinion about someone or really anything in business, in life. But let's talk about this in business. A lot of time we're quick making opinion by the five senses, like we make a judgment opinion about somebody right away, right away. And is the wrong way to go, because that won't help you to succeed. Don't form opinion right away. Have a flow, like he talks about flow, about about life in general. When you form an opinion, you're very rigid. You're very rigid, and you most likely will fail. And it's a condition, it's a habit. We are very judgmental. A lot of time we form opinion, about this person. She looks this way or whatever it is. Don't do that. Try your best. He speaks about no opinion. No opinion. Because we can learn from every experiences, and definitely from everyone. We can learn from everyone. So don't get so quick in forming opinion. That's one key of his wisdom. And keep it simple. He speaks about when we make decisions in business and life, obviously, if it gets complicated, for instance, let's say you're making a business plan. You're making a business plan and you have business partner, okay? And somehow it gets so busy in your head, so complicated. This is a signal. There should be a signal that you're getting away from where you should go. So it's not intuitive. Make it where it feels simple. That's what it's trying to explain, is trying to make things where it flow, and where it flows is usually simple, with simplicity. And when things are getting too complicated, this should give you a good idea that is the wrong direction. So this is really part of your intuitive awareness, with biz tuition, as we call it, and that you getting away from this expansion and the goal of success. So that's number 2. So it says, no opinion, keep it simple. It's something that absolutely is music to my ear. So someone like Verne Harnish confirmed this. Oh, it makes me so happy. He said, be quiet. Be quiet. And what does that mean? Does it mean to be quiet in your room and no noise? No. You can be quiet even when you are doing things. Be quiet means that you are at peace with yourself. Be quiet, It's this certainty of having the confidence in yourself to be able to be very clear about what's going on. How do I feel now? I am here now. This is what it means by be quiet. It also means to listen, right? You listen, and then you're able to take action because it's a very powerful, this is what the power we were giving is to take action and willpower, making decisions with that quietness in the background, so you can raise in consciousness and not be depleted by this thinking mind, but go beyond this and just be yourself. So I'm very happy this beautiful exchange was it is what it is, and he speaks about love. He says at the end of the day, it's love. It's love. You come from love and you go to love. So it's love. This beauty, this wisdom that you are, that is this your nature. There's nothing you need to seek it. It's there. It already is there. And so this show is about how can someone tap into this thing that is already there. So no effort. Sometimes it takes effort to no effort. Just have this moment where you are quiet, no thinking, and let things flow. Let things seek you more than what you want to seek, because the truth of the core of it is that what you're really seeking is already there. You see? It's already there. So trust that. Watch pattern in your life and watch it. You have experiences, and if you don't like those experiences, means that you have to change something. No, you have to be aware more, self-aware, practice self-awareness. And self-awareness means to be here and now, not in the past, not in the present, and not in the future. Same thing. That is mind and time. So you are here now. And my friends, you always here now. That doesn't change. So everything around you can change, but this is permanent, is what you are here and now. Beauty, love, and wisdom. And you are free. You are free. So thank you for being here and now with us, mystical mavericks. Love, wisdom, beauty. You take care of yourself and try it. Try it, practice, no effort, which is no practice, right? Might be the most difficult thing to do. No practice. Love, 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 love. À bientôt and namaste.
You have just listened to another enlightening episode of Mystical Mavericks. Please visit mysticalmavericks.com for additional resources and to learn more about our mentorship, giveaways, and gatherings. Be sure to subscribe and share so you don't miss the next episode of Mystical Mavericks.